janitor.
What do you use for your water source? Do you filter it or anything
We
like
have a
that?
charcoal filtered water system, and we have a separate one back here. We have the same system up front. You order a glass of water, it's going to be very similar to the water we use in the brewing process. But it's pretty good water.
It's nice.
It's tap water? Yeah. Okay. Filtered city water.
So you don't treat your water to match it to any traditional styles, do you?
No, we don't. It's all just filtered city water. Any other questions?
Well, I'm sure we have a few.
Yeah.
Do you brew lager styles with ale yeast?
No.
What about liquid or dry yeast?
Steam ale is a lager recipe, lager yeast at an ale temperature. And we were doing it that way for a while, but it just was coming out off. So it's more like we use an ale yeast at an ale temperature for that one too. It's more of an amber ale hybrid. But other than that, we just do ales at ale temperature. Keep it pretty normal. We keep it pretty simple.
Is it liquid or dry when you pitch it?
Dry. We don't use any liquid yeast.
Okay.
It's a lot more expensive in the volume that we're doing. Dry yeast is a lot cheaper.
Do you recycle any of your yeast? Do you make your own strains?
We try to reuse yeast as much as we can, as long as it stays healthy and clean.
Do you have any that match a specific style of yeast?
Well, pretty much all the ales use a specific kind of yeast, SO4 from the lab we get it for. The lagers, we're using a yeast called S189. Other than that, the dark beers are getting Nottingham, the dark ales, and the Hefeweizen is the only one with its own specific yeast that has Hefeweizen yeast.
For the yeast that you do recycle, how many times do you recycle it? Do you have any idea?
2 or 3 batches these days, if we're lucky.
Do you do anything to control the quality of the yeast that you recycle, or is it just cycled from one batch to the next?
Well, we harvest it. In harvesting the yeast, we use a 5-gallon soda keg. You have to take it apart, sanitize it, harvest your yeast in there, and then take a sanitary sample, and we check it under the microscope to see
what's living and what's dead.
What's living, what's dead, if there's bacteria in it, how much bacteria, and then that will decide whether or not we're going to use that yeast again.